Thank
I
you.
believe we'll call the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting to order at 5:03. And for those, I see we have a couple of agenda items here, Mark. I think we'll approve the minutes first. So zoning board members, have you had an opportunity to review the minutes from the last zoning board meeting?
Can I make a suggestion
Yes, you may.
that we accept the minutes? Because I wasn't at the meeting, so I can't really approve them.
Well, you could also abstain if you would prefer.
Sure, whichever is better. Either just accept or abstain.
Okay.
But I can't approve them because I wasn't there.
Right.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
I would second.
Okay, so, all right. All in favor of accepting the minutes from last meeting signify by saying aye.
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 You have to put me down as abstain.
Okay.
Yep, no problem. Yep, I got it.
Okay. Then the second order of business on the agenda. Now, is that going to be part of the public records, Mark, the election of chair and vice chair, or do we take care of that in this portion?
Yeah, it's oddly stated on the agenda. It's just an agenda item.
Okay.
So, and let me give a little background to this. So normally the mayor, the mayor per state statute has the prerogative to appoint the chairperson.
Okay.
And she conveyed to us that she is happy with allowing the Zoning Board of Appeals this year to designate their own chairperson. Paul Reisleger has been serving in this role for several years. She has certainly no objection to that, but she said she doesn't really know the members, and so she was said, feel free to let the board decide amongst themselves. So that is why this is on the agenda for both chair and vice chair.
Okay, so do we need to vote on that, Mark?
So there should be a nomination. I guess the
Okay.
best way forward in this case is to request open the floor for nominations to serve as chairperson.
Okay. So with that being said, then I would open that up to the members on the call to nominate a chair and a vice chair. I'd be certainly happy to continue in the role unless someone else feels strongly that they would like to be chair.
I'd like to nominate Paul as chair.
Then she should ask if there's any other nominations.
Any other nominations?
Did we need to a second for that, Mark?
This is something that's always kind of all over the board with how boards handle this. If there's no other nominations, there doesn't have to be a second technically by Robert's Rules of Order, but I've seen it done, but I think it's appropriate to ask for other nominations. I mean, the person running the meeting should request for ask if there's any other nominations.
Are there other nominations?
So now I guess someone could make a motion. I think that would be fine just to handle it that way. A motion to approve Paul Reisleger to serve as chair for this next year.
Okay, so do we have a motion?
I would move to accept Paul as the chair.
Okay. Then is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so Dave
I
and
didn't
Justin seconded. So then all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Now to the matter of vice chair.
Who was the second on that last motion?
Justin.
I was, Mark.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep.
So then do we have nominations for the vice chair? And I think currently that is Bob Mangus, but he's not on the call.
Yeah, I would make a motion that Justin Ballwig be the vice chair.
Are there other nominations? If there are none, we have a motion for Justin to be the vice chair. Do we have a second?
Second,
Okay, Elizabeth seconded that. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I,
Okay, so that passes. Justin, I'll continue to serve as the chair for the next year, and Justin will be the vice chair. On to the next agenda item. Daphne, would you be? Oh, go ahead, Mark.
Oh, I'm saying he's the chair of vice.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so we do have a quorum. Daphne, would you be able to read the agenda item we have before us tonight and let us know if there's any changes or updates to that?
Yes, so the agenda item is for 1614 Elderwood Circle. The owner, Karen Zuggy, is requesting a variance from the rear setback. The applicant is requesting approval to build a screen porch that is 23 feet from the rear property line, measured to the wall, 22 feet measured from the eaves. And I believe I spoke with Karen earlier, and it's actually 23 feet measured to the eaves. So that was a change from the notice, but since it's less, or since it is more than what was noticed, I think we should be also okay with that as well. And so section 10.24.6 requires a 30-foot rear setback.
Okay, thank you, Daphne. And Karen, moving forward, what we'll do is we'll call the public hearing to order. And then we have, Daphne has already read your agenda item, and then you'll have an opportunity to present your variance request to us. And if there are others on the call that would like to have an opportunity to speak in favor or against the variance, they will have an opportunity to do so. And then at that point, we'll close the public hearing. We'll discuss as a board, and then we'll make a motion.
Okay, thank you.
So with that, we'll call the public portion of the meeting to order at 5:10. Daphne, you had read the agenda item previously. So Karen, could you please state your name for the record and then proceed to explain your variance request to us?
Sure. I am Karen Zuga, and I live at 1614 Elderwood Circle. Oh, and thank you for calling up the request, which I believe everybody has too, correct? So I wonder if it might be best to scroll to the picture. And I think so that's the survey, the plat of the survey. And then further down is the hand drawn by me, the challenges of the yard. So there is an existing 3-season porch. And I would like to have where the existing patio is a screen enclosure, so a screen porch added to the back of the house. And I tried to diagram in there the challenge of the yard, which is that it's incredibly steep. There's an existing extensive rock wall structure to the back of the yard and to the side. So there's little space to use or do anything with the yard other than have a patio. And I would like to just have a screened enclosure there to be able to use the space that exists in the back. And there's some pictures showing the front view of the yard. It's at the end of a cul-de-sac there. And then there is, as you walk from the front of the house towards the right, there's a northeast corner with a rain garden. It's very steep. There's a steep path going up the side there. And the rain garden I put in with a landscaper to allow for runoff control, rainwater, stormwater runoff control. There's also a narrow path along the side of the house with a steep 2-level rock wall. And then it's all, there's the back patio also on the next page, the view of the patio looking down from the steep north wall. And the existing screen porch would be less of a setback, this proposed screen porch would be less of a setback than the existing 3-season room would be essentially right there where those stairs are. And there's another view a little further down. And then none of the neighbors would be able to see this even really from their own houses because it's so steep. It goes very high up. And you can see a little bit of the fence in that bottom picture. where you're looking, actually further back. Yeah, that's the fence. You'd have to look over a 5-foot fence. And it's like kind of at the top. The next neighbors are further down. And I think there's another bunch of pictures looking from the door down to where just the screen porch would be there on the existing cement patio. And then from the view from the southwest corner of the lot, from the downhill neighbors, the entire patio, the entire room would be behind this existing room. The screen enclosure would be behind the existing 3-season porch. So that's the essence of my request.
Can I make a clarification or ask a clarification for the record, Paul?
Yes, you may.
Karen, you said that the proposed screen porch would have less of a setback than the existing 3-season porch. I think you
I'm
meant to
sorry,
say-
more. Yeah,
All right, thank you.
correct. Yeah, the existing porch, existing structure is closer. If you go back to the diagram, that's 21 feet from the fence in that corner. And because of the odd shape of the lot, it would be even further.
I think what you meant to say, it would
Or-
go into the setback area less than.
Yes.
I understood what you meant, but I just wanted to clarify. So, thank
Right.
you.
Thank you.
So your stairs going from your 3-season porch, how are you going to, are you still going to maintain that exit, or would that be through?
No, the stairs are going from an existing back door. I don't know if you need to scroll to the picture. That 3-season porch has a sliding door that leads outward. So those stairs go from the kitchen. They don't go from that existing 3-season room.
Okay. So those
It's a
stairs
split
would be
level
removed?
house too, because of the weird level
Mhm.
changes.
And those stairs would be removed. You wouldn't be
Yeah, it would be
placing any
this,
stairs
correct.
back in place that would extend beyond the edge of your sunroom and screen
Correct.
porch.
The room would be essentially right there where those stairs are. It's a screen patio right off the kitchen door. And that other part where the 3-season porch is a different level of the house too, because of, you have to go down 3 stairs to get to that because of the odd shape and slope of the lot.
So where the deck is on those stairs, where the landing is, that's
Yeah.
the proposed height?
No, it would go down 2 steps down. There's, I think, Daphne, if you scroll a little further down, there's the plan. Potentially. Yeah, so there would be a landing that is 1 step down. And then
Yes.
1 step, then stair, and then the left side of the screen there where it says 12 feet, that would be flush with the 1 patio part. And then on the right corner, there would be 1 step down because it's such a weird slope, but it would all be within the existing cement patio.
Okay. And then the roof for this looks like it ties into the existing roof, and it wouldn't be any higher from,
But
Would it be
not at the
12
peak
feet
would be
away?
the same peak, but it would have to be, it would be, so one is like this and the other would be a 90-degree to it, but it would be the same height as the existing roof.
okay.
It wouldn't,
So your house is 17'10" going the other way, or you're having a different slope? Is this the same slope? Sorry.
so I'm trying to do it with my, so the existing slope is like this, right? And the other one would be 90 degrees to it, but it would be the same peak height. So where it says existing roof, that's west facing downslope. And this would come at the angle would be a 90-degree angle
Sure. Yeah. No.
to that, but the same height.
Okay. Is the slope of that roof the same then? If you know what I mean, is it like this or is it like that?
No, it would be the same height, same slope. They would be
Okay.
matching slopes.
Okay. So then.
Oh yeah, there's a overview. That's
Okay.
nice. It
Yeah,
would
so
be
I
that
assume-
same,
So get to, for that geometry
Analogous
to
to the-
match,
yeah.
to make sense, I'm just saying that the width of that portion of your height of your house would be the same width as your screen porch. If this.
Yeah, I think they're both 12 by 17.
Yep, perfect.
Yes, both 12 by 17.
Okay.
I just wanted to note that board member Bob Mangus has joined the meeting. He joined at some point during her presentation.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I'm late. We were having an office retirement party and I ran a little bit long, so. But I heard almost all of this presentation. I missed the very first part where you were voting on the meeting minutes and that, so.
And Bob, just so you know, we do have an alternate member present tonight, Elizabeth Hetrick.
Okay,
Is available as well, and if you felt you missed some of the material. And then also we have a new member, John Wagenke, who's
okay,
wearing the cap.
okay. I think I heard everything and I reviewed the packet before the meeting, so I think I'm up to speed. If you hadn't already decided to have an alternate provide.
Well, because you weren't here, we had invited and welcomed Elizabeth to stay. And then I guess one of the questions is anybody planning to abstain on this item for any reason? I guess we should have asked Paul. We should in the future.
Right, should I ask that at the beginning?
Yeah. Does anybody have a conflict that would prevent them from participating in this discussion? Hearing none, I guess it's up to, it sounds like Bob is planning to participate as a regular member. So Elizabeth, you're welcome, and we love having you here, especially with the background you have. You aren't obligated to stay. So, okay, go ahead. Sorry for the interruption.
Thanks. Karen, did you contact your neighbors?
There has been a posting out by my front yard since I picked it up on the day that it was designated to be posted. And I did not knock on everybody's door. No, I did not.
Paul, we did receive an input from the neighbor at 1542 Parmenter Street. You want me to read that out now?
If you could, and we can continue if we have other questions for Karen as well. Sure, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I think it should be shared on your screen now, but it was an email from Henry and Judith Simon, and they have no objection to Karen's request. So, yeah.
Thank you. Are there other questions from the board members for Karen?
Yeah, Paul, this is Dave. I have a question. Karen, does the new roof line of this porch, is there a separation between the existing 3-season porch, or do they connect?
No, there will be a separation because they're at different levels. It would
Okay.
be, the screen porch is a little higher because of the steep slope.
It appeared that way. I just was confused from this one diagram.
They would be separated.
Thank you.
Other questions? If there are none, are there any other neighbors on the call that wish to speak? Mark, have you gotten any other information from the city regarding this variance?
No.
Okay. Then we will close the public portion of this hearing and discuss as a board.
So I will sign off then, is that correct?
You're welcome to stay if there's other
Oh,
questions. You
okay.
don't, yeah, you're welcome to stay.
Let me know when I should leave.
Yeah, no, you stay
Okay,
until the end,
thank you.
until we take a vote.
Okay.
So board members, any discussion?
Well, Paul, I guess I don't really have a problem with what's going on, but what will we consider as the hardship here? If there is one.
So it's it's an inability kind of to use the back of the yard. due to the unique nature of the yard being a steep slope. And that would be the hardship.
Mhm.
And then also, it should not negatively impact drainage from the steep yard because of that has been considered with the rain garden in place. And no increase in impermeable surfaces.
Thank you.
So there's
David,
there's no
on,
danger to public safety.
Okay, thank you. Dave, there is a sheet, and I think it was item number 4. She
Yeah,
listed
I
some
see
of
it.
the,
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, yeah, I get it. In fact, it may improve, what she's doing may improve the runoff of the water back there, because it appears like the elevation of that patio could capture water now. Am I correct?
I mean, I think when I had the patio like redone, they what's the word, grading. So they made sure that everything drains away from the house, and then specifically did landscaping around both sides to make sure that water is absorbed and it properly drains away from the house. It would not negatively impact the drainage because it would be on an existing hard surface that has good drainage, with consideration for stormwater runoff that would impact the public.
I guess my reason for asking that, Karen, is it appears there's 2 steps up from the lowest point of your patio.
Yes.
Up to another
Yeah,
level.
it's all quite steep going.
Where does that water go? The lowest part of that
hey, Mark,
patio.
is it, Mark, since before we go on, Mark, since I had closed that public portion, is it acceptable for us to be asking additional questions of Karen?
Yeah, I don't see a problem with
Okay.
asking questions of the applicant if you're seeking clarification to help you in your
Okay,
deliberation.
all right. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
Thanks,
and-
Mark. Dave.
So on this diagram, you can see a lot of rock wall, and on the right side, which is north, that is where the most steep part of the yard is, and it drains into the rain garden, which is at the front right-hand corner, with a large rain garden to absorb stormwater runoff. And the patio has been sloped also to drain towards the rain garden as the primary drainage, but there is also drainage to the left, so towards the south side of the yard from the 3-season porch. That also goes steeply down to the neighbors, and there's also a steep rock wall on the left border going down to the neighbor there. And there is a rain garden, actually, which I didn't put in here because I didn't think it would. It's at there's some rock wall there right by where it says sidewalk easement and sidewalk end in the bottom left corner. There's also another drainage. Everything drains sort of towards the street. And then towards my neighbor on the south side, there's also extensive landscaping in front of that rock wall to prevent drainage.
Very good.
Yeah, right there where that big tree is. Yeah.
Sure. It looked like that's almost where that water had to go from the lower part of that patio, so.
Yeah, from that part, it does go that way. The highest part is on the highest part of the patio is on the northwest corner of the house.
Sure, thank you.
You're welcome.
Discussion?
Is there functionally between your existing 3-season porch and your new screen porch, is the difference that one has windows, one just will have screen, and will be a summertime, or are these functions really the same thing?
No, that'll be different because the screen will be just screen. The other one is a 3-season porch that has heat and air conditioning going to it. And they won't be, they're on different levels too. The screen porch will be a little bit higher and will come from a different part of the house. The 3-season porch comes from the living room, and the screen porch would come right off the kitchen.
And Mark and Daphne, I'm assuming that the existing screen porch was grandfathered in, or that didn't need a variance when that was created, right? This house has been existing before the previous zoning code.
Well, that is a good question that we asked ourselves as well. We reviewed our digital file. There was no indication in that, so we dug out the paper files and could find no record of the screened-in porch having ever gotten a building permit, which to me suggests that it's also highly likely that it never got a variance because we saw no record of a variance. So the question is, when was that constructed? Did that predate the current zoning ordinance? And it's hard to tell from aerial photography, but it appears to have been an addition after the structure was built, especially since we see this original drawing that, which is now new to you. We found this in our file today. Actually, it was buried in our files. So this is the original design from 1978, which predates the zoning code by a few years. Does not show the screened-in porch. So we just don't know exactly when it was added. We don't have any records indicating the addition or that a variance was granted, but I can tell you that after 1984, a variance would have been required. So, you know, I mean, at this point, it's there. You know, we have no reason. We don't have evidence to believe that it wasn't. I mean, we can't say definitively that it's not illegal or that it's not.
No, understood. I was just.
Yeah.
In my
I
reason.
purchased the house in 2011 with it in place.
Yeah.
So
Understood.
it was news to me today at 4:30 to hear that.
And then the other part of this site plan that is different from what is in your packet is, and it doesn't really have any bearing on the variance request, but this shows, well, it has a bearing in the sense of the question I had was, yeah, what Daphne's showing, the 27 feet in the front. My question was, when I looked at the original site plan submitted with the application, is, well, why was the house set back so far? And what this doesn't show is, what this shows here is where the bulb of the cul-de-sac is. It doesn't show where the actual lot line is that we have. I mean, that was in our files, but and that's why we called the applicant today to ask about this. And Karen mentioned that she had a surveyor out there who actually presented this. In fact, why don't you pull up the CSM, Daphne? Or plat of survey. So I find this very odd, but I don't have an explanation for it. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter where that front lot line is because the request is to go into the rear yard. It's just a peculiar situation, but, and that's why we called her today, to let her know that this might come up at the meeting.
Thanks for sharing, Mark.
Interesting.
So we still make a ruling based on the variance, and we don't really don't concern ourselves with the fact that the 3-season porch did not have a building permit.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think you should make the assumption that it's a freestanding issue. It's a freestanding issue. This is a separate variance request. The status of the 3-season porch really is immaterial as far as I'm concerned.
The only question I have, do we have confidence in the numbers that are indicated here from the building to the back lot line? The 21 foot, 23 foot, 24 foot, 26 foot? What's the source of that?
Why don't you show the plat of survey? Well, the plat of survey doesn't have the house on it, right?
Doesn't have the house.
It doesn't have the house on it. That's why I'm asking.
Okay.
So the 21 feet plus 12 feet would be 33 feet and if the old document that you guys had,
Says it's 31.
it says it's 31. It is very steep. So you have to, when you measure it, you have to like climb a hill to do it, because it has to be as it's steep, it probably would be a lot further of a setback, but because it has to be by the line of the air.
Yeah,
So
so
that makes it probably challenging for anybody to measure it.
yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
So if that old 31 foot is an accurate measurement, 21 feet is probably 19 feet. And
It
not
could be,
that it
yeah.
matters, because it's, the context of the request, you're not going out beyond the 3-season porch, the closeness to the back lot line is less than what you already have. So.
Is there other discussion? You know, do we, as a board, feel that we want some of these dimensions verified?
I don't know if it matters, Paul. It's just an anomaly that I was noticing as we were looking at the other information and kind of getting the backstory on the fact that the 3-season porch doesn't have a record.
Right, and the 21 and 12 don't add up to the 31. Okay.
Yeah, so it's, I mean, I think we look at it in the context of the relationship to the existing 3-season porch is probably appropriate.
Well, depending on how we, rule on the motion, if it were to go ahead, we could either direct them to have a certain dimension off that back property line, or not extend beyond the 3-season porch.
I think that the request is to basically go beyond the zoning limitation. And the number 26 might not be 26 feet, but the number 12 feet is clear. It's a 12 by 17 porch and it doesn't stick out any further than the 3-season porch that's there.
And in addition, I think we have the benefit of the visual of the existing concrete patio.
Yeah.
So we can picture where it's going to end up anyway.
And
So Mark, given the fact that there's some unknowns with dimensions and the variance was written to be 23 feet from the rear property line to the wall, 22 feet to the eave. If there's a discrepancy in that, I mean, how do we handle that?
Well, I would note that in her testimony, or maybe it was Daphne who said that the eave is actually 23 feet, not 22 feet. So that's one extra foot. It is, there does seem to be a question about where that rear setback line is. I mean, what the actual dimension is. It's unfortunate that the plat of survey didn't show the, I guess I'm curious as to what the purpose of the plat of survey was. Was it to find, why the house is?
Find the, oh, sorry. The
No, go
survey
ahead.
that the survey was done to place a fence in the back.
Oh, that helps.
To fence the yard.
So the fence is located theoretically then on your side of the lot line.
Right. A
So you
couple
put
inches
in the
in.
fence, is what you're saying.
Yes, I put a new fence in.
And
I
are
had
these
the survey
measurements-
done to do that.
and these, okay, so that's very good to know. So these, I mean, then we have to presume that she put the fence in on her side of the lot line, which if she took the time to have a plat of survey done, I would assume that that was the case. So is that
Yes.
fence, are those measurements then to the fence essentially?
To the fence. Yep.
Well, then that gets you another foot as well.
Well, how far is the fence
It's-
off the property line, Karen? Do you know?
3 inches. 3 inches in. And it's very steep. So again, like you have to scramble up a rock wall and you have to like measure and you have to double check it multiple times. It's not easy to measure because it is pretty steep. That 21 feet, I'm very certain, I'm more certain than any other of the numbers because the 21 feet is the like relatively level part. And then once you get towards the other corner, it goes very steep uphill.
But that 21 feet is to the fence.
Yes, from the corner
And
of the
then the
building to
fence
the
has
fence.
the fence has a thickness to it. And then you said there's another 3 inches.
Yeah. So I'm definitely within the border of the survey plat.
And the patio is being set in, I'm sorry, the new the new porch, the screen porch would be set back from that. If you take the rear wall of the 3-season porch, oh, is that where it says 17 feet? Daphne, can you
Yes.
show that? Is that the roof overhang, or is that the, well, I meant of the 3-season porch to the left, Daphne. Yeah, that one. Is that the wall or is that the roof overhang? Do you know?
That's the wall,
Okay.
21 feet from the wall to the fence.
And then what you're proposing for the, oh yeah, so basically so this would be the same dimension and the same size, which you testified is 7. Okay, I got it.
Yes,
I'm caught up now.
it would be further from the fence than the existing, and it would be
Yeah.
within the existing patio.
And it's further from the fence because of the angle of the building in relation to the lot line.
Yeah, it's an
Okay.
odd shaped
Yeah.
lot.
Okay. And that's a 24 in pink there, is that at the top?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, because there's 23 to the left of that. And
Yeah.
you wrote the hearing notice, Daphne, as 23 feet?
Yeah, measured 23 feet. And then it's actually 23 feet from the eaves. I think I wrote it as 20.
Right, because it's 24 feet to the wall of that corner.
Right. Right.
I'm
It's
fine with
23
it. This is borderline, but I'm okay with that explanation, and I'm sorry I didn't look at this sooner. I think we could have clarified how the site plan was drawn, but I'm based on this, and based on the attempts by the applicant to site the fence properly, which I appreciate. I'm okay with this setback dimensions.
So I think another way to just think about it is, it looks like based on the back wall of the building, the new patio won't go beyond the 3-season porch. It's 12 by 17,
Correct.
and that's easily understood. So,
Is there other discussion? If there's not, do you feel we have enough information to have a motion?
And Karen, you can stay for this too.
Okay, thank you for letting me
You
know.
can stay for the whole meeting. There was a comment made
Okay.
earlier that you could stay up till the vote, but you could stay for the entire meeting.
I think we have enough information to create a motion.
Okay.
And I would vote in favor of this applicant's request, in part because of the irregular shape of the lot line and the topography and the kind of isolated condition that it is relative to any neighbors. And the neighbor that's commented is finding no issue with it. And that it adds value to the property.
Is that a motion, Bob?
I'm thinking it all through my head.
I think I would omit the person, the neighbor has no objection. I don't know that we can use that as our,
Yeah. I was talking out loud.
yeah,
Well,
no, yeah, understood, yeah. for
And the
sure.
value,
And
the
the value,
value
yeah, we don't want to add that.
No, that's subjective.
Okay.
so what I recorded is the irregular shape of the lot. So in other words, it's, well, yeah, that speaks for itself. Topography, so the steep topography is what you meant, right?
Yes.
Right. It's screened from neighbors.
And did you mean as part of the steep topography, were you referring to like what specifically about it? Just the use of the rear yard or the?
Use of the rear yard. And that the.
I wouldn't even limit it to the use of the rear yard. I would just say the use of the entire lot, because it seems like the entire thing is sloping other than where the house sits. And even the grade as it hits the house seems,
And it's not changing the pervious pavement area, and the site already has good drainage.
And then the isolated condition relative to the neighbors, you just meant that it's not really visible, or it's kind of, it's inobtrusive, it's not noticeable from adjoining
Yeah,
properties.
inobtrusive.
The grade screens it from the neighbors.
In fact, I think that's the key comment. As far as I'm concerned, it really has no impact on the neighbors.
but I think as far as hardship goes, the only two things that we can really use as hardship is the odd shape and the slope of the lot. Because those other things are nice to have, but they're not really the hardship, right? Like, I agree with you that being separated, like, that's great, like, it's not bugging anybody else, but it's not really the hardship.
Right. No, I am in agreement. The difficulty with the lot, the topography of it probably warrants the hardship.
Okay, you have all that, Mark?
Yeah. So the two reasons are due to the irregular shape of the lot and the steep topography impacts the lot's steep topography impacts the use of the lot. How about the lot's irregular shape and steep topography constrain the use of the lot?
Perfect.
Sounds
That sounds
good.
That's what I heard Bob say.
Right.
You said it more eloquently.
Then we would need a motion.
I was assuming he was making a motion.
I was.
Well, he didn't say, I moved to,
Oh, sorry.
I thought he did. But
I'm new at this. I moved to do a motion that Mark just wrote down.
okay. Is there any further discussion on that and what was discussed?
The only thing do we want to say that we motion per those hardships that the applicant get the variance 24 or 23 foot from the lot, or do we want to say that does not extend past the existing 3-season porch? I guess that's my only question. Like how we want to word that portion.
I would go with the not extending past the 3-season porch.
I think that seems to make sense to me too, Bob. Yeah.
It's easier to measure and manage.
I mean, the only concern I have with that is, I mean, in theory, a 3-season porch could be rebuilt and then changed, and the footprint changed.
Could we say 17 feet off of existing? Then the house could get torn down too at some point. And
Yeah, I mean, here, what we usually write in the minutes is that the motion's approved. I forget the exact language that we've used in the past, and I don't know if we've done it the last couple of times, but we should do that. Is I always say as indicated in the application materials. So that's somebody's talking, I think. Oh, maybe not.
sounds like background noise, maybe.
Okay. I thought somebody was okay.
Well, I would agree, not extending beyond that 3-season porch. Because even if they would rebuild the screened in porch, they would have to come back and get a building permit.
I think I mean, as part of the discussion, I wrote that you noted that the addition would be inobtrusive or not visible from neighbors. Isolate condition you had mentioned earlier would not alter the impervious pavement area and would not extend any farther extend out from the house any farther than the existing. We'll just have that documented as well. It's just not the basis for granting it, but it's being noted as in support, if you will.
Yeah, I like
Okay.
that.
And
That
not
the screen
extend
in
out.
porch shall not, okay. Any further discussion?
You need a second, Paul?
Yep, I was just gonna ask that, is there a second then for the
Yeah,
variance?
I would second that.
Dave seconds it. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And then, are there none? So it passes 5-0 on a voice vote.
Yep.
Thank you,
all.
Karen.
Do we have any other applications pending, Daphne?
Nope.
Okay,
Thank you.
So,
Close that meeting at 5:49. Is there any other business that the board members would like to discuss? If not, can we have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded, so meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
good night.
Thank
you.
you. And sorry again for being
Thank
late.
you. No worries, Bob.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, Karen.